एक सेकेंड जस्ट फ्रेंड्स, यहाँ पे कुछ तो चल रहा है, इस कारण ये सही से रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं आई है। एक सेकेंड बस रिकॉर्डिंग ये सही कर लूँ। हाँ, फ्रेम सही है। सो स्टार्ट करते हैं। आप एप्लीकेशंस से पाइथन के एप्लीकेशंस को डिस्कस करते हैं हम लोग पहले। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये ईडीए का मैं एग्जांपल आपके लिए खोल देता हूँ, ठीक है। ये ज़्यादा अच्छा है, स्टॉक मार्केट वाला थोड़ा ज़्यादा ट्रिकी है, ठीक है, या ये स्पोर्ट्स डेटा, ठीक है। तो पहले डिस्कस कर रहे हैं हम लोग कि पाइथन के एप्लीकेशंस। तो पाइथन के एप्लीकेशंस किस किस डोमेन में होते हैं। हम पाइथन से गेम डेवलप कर सकते हैं, वेब डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं, लाइब्रेरी पैकेजेस आप लोग जानते हैं, साइंटिफिक कंप्यूटिंग ये सब वगैरह होती रहती है। ये डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन जो है, लाइब्रेरीज जो हम लोग कल डिस्कस कर रहे थे, मैटप्लॉटलिब और सीबॉन्ड, ये भी इनिशियली पाइथन में ही लिखी गई हैं। All these libraries have been written in Python itself. Okay, the libraries that we have discussed: NumPy, SciPy, PandaS. Okay, and there is entirely a library that is present for any of your actions. Okay, whatever you want to do, there's a Python library already present for it. Next comes its applications. Okay, so web development was there. You can even try to develop mobile applications with it. It's a little bit tricky, but you can do it, okay, with the help of a library named as Kiwi, K-I-V-Y, Kiwi. Okay, then there is web scraping application, Selenium okay, that using your web scraping, then using is beautiful soup for there is Selenium there that you can use with Python programming. Okay, next comes data science, or analyzing the data. Okay, what is data science? Just simple definition: science behind the data, or what is the what kind what is data science exactly? Let's see the definition in a little bit depth. Okay, what the definition Google gives us about data science? Okay, so it is an interdisciplinary method, means it is in many disciplines, used in arts, engineering, business. Okay, many disciplines. So interdisciplinary, using scientific methods, processes and algorithm to extract knowledge and insights from structured and unstructured data, apply knowledge and actionable insights across a broad range of application domain. Okay, so let's understand this term word by word. Interdisciplinary means it is used over a variety of fields. Okay, that is maths and stats, computation and IT. Okay, business as well. Okay, business knowledge. Okay, interdisciplinary. Next unknown term here is structured and unstructured data. Data we are knowing. What is structured and unstructured data first? So structured data stands for data which is organized, okay, into a certain form. Okay, means it will contain the features on which the analysis has to be done, and it will contain the labels which will be the results. An example I'm giving you here, this data set, hours and scores. Okay, so what we are predicting here, predicting the percentage of a student based on number of study hours. Okay, the scores is given, we are calculating the percentage of the score here. Okay, so this, the score value is the label here, and the hours here is the features. Okay, another example. Okay, not this one, another example will be from this one. Oh, this one is for terrorism attack. This one should be good. stock market, yeah. So this is are certain types of data where you are finding insights from it. Okay, so structured data I have told you, it contains features and labels. Like suppose you want to predict the price of a house, so what shall be the features of the house, where it is located, location of the house, number of bedrooms can be a feature, number of bathrooms can be another feature. Okay, the square foot of the house, okay, area of the house, okay, another feature on which your computation can be done, and the price of that house, it will be the estimated price based on the facts and figures, okay, that our model will predict. And there will be another column of the price, actual price of the house. So what we will do, we will use these features to generate a predicted label and then compare the predicted label with the label that was given in the dataset already. Okay, so that kind of data in which there is features and labels both are present. Okay, that kind of data set where features and labels both are present is known as structured data. Then comes unstructured data. Okay, unstructured data, there is no label present. So for the labels or for to classify such kind of data, we have to find insights within the data, find the parameters with the data set itself. Okay, लाइट चला दो बस, लाइट ऑन कर दो ना. We have to find the data from the data set itself. Like for example here, okay, there are three types of shipping, two types of shipping, second class and standard class. Okay, a group here, it has been formed from the data set itself. It contains only features, no labels is present here. Again, three segments of user: corporate user, consumer and home office. Another kind of thing which can be, this whole data can be grouped into, okay, based on state, based on city, it can be grouped based on the category of things that has been bought. Okay, this can be grouped into. So the here what is happening, there is nothing which describes what is the result here. Okay, so that kind of data where there is no structure is being present, that is the data, it is known as unstructured data. Next topic that we will discuss here is from here. Okay, apply knowledge and actionable insights. Okay, applying knowledge, what are we are doing, we are copying the data, we are removing the unnecessary features, we are using crosstab feature to generate, you're getting information from the data. Then we are making a data frame that consists of that we are making a data frame that consists of only of numerical data, nothing else, and then we are plotting it to gain insights from it. Okay, see, we are plotting it through different plots, different varieties of plots to gain insight. What are insights? These are insights. So this is data science. Okay, understood the topic data science. Next, a deeper version of data science, machine learning. Okay, it is a method of data analysis that automates analytical model building. Okay, this definition will be complex. A much simpler definition, it is a branch of artificial intelligence based on the idea that systems can learn from the data, identify patterns, make decisions with minimal human intervention. Okay, so let's try to visualize this here. I hope the screen is visible. So I'm creating a Jamboard here, a whiteboard here. Okay, Just look at the whiteboard and understand what is happening in machine learning. Okay, so what are we doing here? First, let me pick the pen. Suppose this is an AND gate here. What does AND gate contains? Two input labels here. One output label. So what does the definition of machine learning says to us? Okay, systems learn from data, identify pattern and make decision. Okay, so what does our Jamboard should require? Is the Jamboard visible or not? Please tell me. If it is not visible, please tell me. Hello? No sir. Okay, just 1 minute. I will just share the Jamboard link. I'll make it open. It's currently restricted here. It's been private only to me. Okay, so here is a new link for the Jamboard. Try to open and see that. A newer link I have sent of the Jamboard. If it is not visible, please text me immediately. Is it visible? Yeah, visible. Okay. So this is the AND gate here. Okay, what does this machine learning tells us about? It takes two things: data here. What does another thing it takes? Okay, as per definition, what is the other thing that it takes? Okay, let's consider here for the supervised learning itself. Okay, considering here for the supervised learning, what other thing it will check for? It will look for the number of groups within data or just the output of the data or result of the data here. And what it will do? What it will do? It will figure out the patterns. It will give you patterns or relation between input and output data. Okay, this is machine learning. Okay, what is programming now? It's just copying that to copying, not just moving this result here and moving this pattern here. This is the programming that we do. We tell the program, we feed the program. What is program indirectly? We tell what you have to do with the input data. So that is the program. Okay, we are basically telling the computer what you have to do with the data. Okay, means we are telling the pattern between them. Okay, and it generates the output. But what is machine learning? We are letting them to figure out the pattern, and based on the pattern we are making the unknown predictions. But in programming we are giving patterns and allowing the computer to compute the result. So this is the difference where I had to tell you between what is the difference between machine learning and Yeah, deep data science. And there is one more term. What can you anyone name that term? What is that unknown term here? That one term which has been missing that we had not discussed here. It's deep learning. Can you tell me what is deep learning? Just a basic idea, or if you have anything. Okay. Okay, no idea about deep learning. So I'm telling what is deep learning. Deep learning is just a way to give our computers the ability to think like human brains. Simple words, simple answer. How to do that? What does our brain contains? Anyone knows? What is our brain made up of? I hope everyone knows this answer. What is our brain made up of? Nerve cell. What is the another word for nerve cell? What do you call another word for a nerve cell? Neurons. Yes, exactly, the neurons. Similar thing here. We are creating a set of neurons, passing the data through that webbed neurons to generate the predictions here. Okay, that is how we are doing it. Okay, so I am just showing an example of a machine learning model. Okay, CNN model structure. An image. Okay, see here. Does it look like a neuron structure here? Does it look like a structure of neurons here? If you see it more closely, does it look like a structure of neuron? A structure like a brain? What his brain is doing? This is the input that we have given. Number 3, it's called MNIST dataset. It contains the handwritten numbers. Okay, handwritten numbers. This is the deep learning convolutional model where you are trying to identify what is the number through their handwritten text. Okay, you're writing the number on a piece of paper through hand and letting the computer figure out what is the exact number for that. Okay, so see, does this look similar to that of a brain, human brain? There's convolutional layers, there all these like this small, this consists of this whole green box, the small yellow in this, it is this blue box, then again this blue, and again these are just big entities of neurons. Like suppose that this is a particular uh, a 2-3 inch brain cell. This is a 1-2 inch brain cell, this is a 1 inch brain cell, this is the half-inch brain cell. These are some 5-10 brain cells together, then another 3-4 brain cells, then again a single brain cell here. Like another example, see what is the exact size of image and what is the size of image it is being printed. 1 cross 5, the size here is 160 cross 60 cross 3. How does it go? Is gets transformed here? How many neurons it goes through? Just see it out. Okay, so are you getting my point? How does a deep learning model looks like a brain? Why does the definition say that deep learning model looks like a brain? Is it clear? Please at least type in the chat box. Is it clear or not? Otherwise I will repeat that again. Okay, so now for basis of any analysis, before the basis of doing this, all this data science, machine learning and deep learning, what we need to do, we need to understand what is our data first, isn't it? So here EDA comes into play. EDA stands for exploratory data analysis. Okay. The definition of EDA says that it is the initial investigation that is to be carried out on any data set. Okay. What kind of, and to figure out what is the insights generated from that initial data. So see, this is a data set here, a sample data set that I'm giving here. See, what does it contains? Shipping mode, segment, country, city, state, postal code, region, category, subcategory, sales, quantity, discount, profit. Just like a store. Okay, this is a data set of a store, an online store. Its inventory records. Okay, a data set from its inventory records of a store. Okay. So how would you perform the exploratory data analysis over it? So if you have watched the previous videos, we had discussed some libraries here, pandas, numpy. Yesterday we discussed seaborn and matplotlib, and I told you a line called star matplotlib inline. Okay, see, I have used here. So first we are importing those libraries here. Then since my data set is being stored in Google Drive itself, I have connected my Google Drive here. Through this Google Colab, it provides me a function. It provides me a package known as from Colab import drive. It contains a package known as this Colab contains a package named Colab function, a module known as drive. Okay. So it contains a particular function mount, which mounts the Google Drive here. So I mounted the Google Drive. Then in Google Drive I have stored the path where my dataset was being held. So this is the path I am stored in this variable. And with read CSV method, since this is a CSV file, I am using read CSV method to read this file and store it into a data frame named TF. Okay. Then head function gives me the first 5 rows, but since I have passed here 20, it will give me 20 rows, first 20 rows. Okay, clear till here? Then let's visualize the data right now. What is the common thing that you can see here? Tell me. There is one common thing here that you can see from the 20 rows, first 20 rows. That is a common thing. Try to guess that. Very easy. Try to guess that. What is the common thing here? Anyone unmute and answer it. What is the common thing here? Vishal, you were in the last class. You should answer it. What is? Yeah, country name. Country name is common here. So it is not required here. So let's remove that. So we had dropped the country name. What is another useless thing that is present in this data set? Another useless which cannot be used directly. Okay, another useless thing. Tell me. Standard class. No. Vishal, you were there. You should tell me what is the another useless thing that is present in the data set. Postal code, yes, exactly, postal code. Okay, so postal code, why we are declining it, the postal code, can you answer? All this is numerical data, why we are declining it? Because postal code, although it is an integer value, but it is not a numerical data. It's a categorical data. What is a categorical data? And difference between numerical data. Categorical data represents a particular category. Like a postal code represents a particular locality. So it is a categorical data. So that is not helpful here. So we are removing the postal code as well. Because we have not found any way to use them. Okay. It will be too complex. There is a method to implement them as well, but it will be too complex right now. We can use encode text dummy method. We can encode them as dummy variables, and then use them as numerical data. Okay, but that is not being useful here because there are many other features that are much more important than using a simple postal code. So we are removing them and we are copying the newer data set into df2 and we are removing all those them from it. Okay, now we need to figure out what are the categories of things that are being purchased. Okay, and what are the people who are purchasing them and their counts. We need to count them. Okay, so we are using cross tab function. We are passing a particular column name here and we are adding a custom column with to this cross tab and which is named as count, and we are counting the particular thing. Like there are 2121 entries of furniture category. There are 602 six items that were sold of office supplies category. 1847 items that were sold from technology. Similarly, 5191 of the buyers were normal consumers. 3020 users were from corporate sector and 1783 were from the home office sector. Then info function gives us information about the data, like what is the data, what are the number of entries there, are there any null values in them, or does it contain the whole data contain null values, or what, how many types of values are there any missing values, what is the data type of the particular column. Okay, so for textual data all the data type are object data type. There is another float data type and int data type. Now to make the insights, to gain the insights, what do we need? Okay, what do you need? What do you need to gain insights from the data? Again about cross tab function. Okay, I'm just telling you from the this one again from the documentation itself. It will be much more clear itself. pd dot cross tab. What does it do? So cross tab function is used to compute a cross tabulation by two or more factors. Okay, it computes a frequency table of factors, okay, from a particular column. Okay, what it gives you? A computation table, a frequency table, sorry, a frequency table of different categories present in a particular column. Clear the cross tab function? Okay, is cross tab function clear, or still having any doubts on cross tab? I am unable to get it. Means there is a particular column here in the cross tab. What it gives you? Cross tab, like here, like go see the data set itself. This category table. Okay, what is a category table? I had told you what kind of data set it is. This whole only the category table. What kind of data it is? It is a categorical data. Why? Because it represents different types of categories. Okay, so what cross tab function does is that it takes a categorical series data, means a single column from a data set, data frame. It takes input a single or multiple columns from a data frame. All of them should be of categorical data, and it gives you the frequency of them. Okay, means what is the occurrence of which, what is the frequency of a particular type of object. So what are the categories here? Furniture, office supplies and technology. So it gave us a frequency, means फर्नीचर कितने बार खरीदा गया, फर्नीचर के ऑकरेंस इस पर्टिकुलर डेटा सेट में, यानी जो 10,000 एंट्रीज हैं डेटा सेट का, वो 10,000 में फर्नीचर की एंट्रीज कितनी है, ऑफिस सप्लाईज की एंट्रीज कितनी है और टेक्नोलॉजी की एंट्रीज कितनी है. Clear now? Got it. Okay. So क्रॉस टैब फंक्शन में बता दिया आपको, क्लियर हो गया क्रॉस टैब का यूज. आगे हम लोग what we are doing now, we are we are creating another new data frame that is comprising only of numerical data. Okay, only numerical data, and we are plotting the correlational matrix, the correlational between all those numerical data. Okay, correlation between the data, and we are plotting the correlation matrix. Okay, then again we are using the describe method to describe the count of the data, the mean value, the standard deviation, the minimum value, the maximum value, the 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile. Then again plotting the each column and gaining insights by plotting them through different graphs and gaining insights from them. Then again plotting a pie chart, again a different kind of plots, LM plot again, then a count plot. Okay, and we are gaining insights from it, the data itself. Okay, and what are our insights here? That office supplies has a wide variety of items, technology has highest sales, people prefer standard shipment as compared to other shipment modes. Okay, then what else? Corporate segment has highest count of buyers, maximum profit is earned from California, New York and Texas, and Chio gives us more loss, and products like phones and copiers give more profit, like chairs and bookcases give lesser profits, and are or just you can say intimately on loss. Then people from west side shop more than the people from east other regions. These were the insights. Clear now? Clear the EDA? Did you understand what is going on in the EDA, whatever we are doing it? Is it clear right now? Or still having any doubt? If you have any doubt, please say it right now. This is the last session today. If you have any doubt from the beginning of today's lecture, I will repeat it entirely. Otherwise, if you have any doubts from any other lectures, you can ask me personally in the group. Okay, I hope my number is visible in the group. If it is not visible, I can give it again. If you have any doubts, you can ping me there. Okay, so if you don't have any doubts, you can exit.